Welcome to the For Culture podcast here at NewsLink Indiana in the Unified Media Lab. I'm Ross Cooper.
I'm Jake Thomas.
And I'm Vanessa Brooks.
And we are joined by our special guest this afternoon,
Grace Hollers.
Thank you for being here. All right, as always, the four topics today, we're going to talk about sexual assault and sexual harassment, touch a little bit on the severe weather that happened recently, as well as the rebranding of Ball State, and we'll wrap things up with your 7-day forecast. All right, kids, let's get right into it. Grace, we brought you here today. You have experience dealing with the sexual assault and harassments that have been happening on campus, with covering or just speaking to different victims as well, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, can you kind of give us a lowdown of what you've covered and what you've done?
I really just kind of stepped in. I stepped in randomly. I saw a lot of the stories on Twitter, and it kind of really inspired me to reach out and really talk to some people. I really didn't like the point of view Ball State was taking, at least some of the students were taking towards this issue of blaming a lot of people and pointing fingers and getting mad. Well, I felt a lot of hurt for the young women, and even maybe if men came forward to say that they were hurt. And I really wanted to let them know, like, hey, you did the right thing. Like, versus, yeah, you ticked off somebody because they don't have a party anymore. But I really wanted to reach out and just kind of give them a hand. And I spoke with probably about 15 some girls just to talk to them and give them a voice. Though I really didn't get to get a couple of them behind the camera.
Yeah.
But I wanted to keep it, if they wanted to be anonymous, it was a really touchy subject, but I just wanted to speak with them like, hey, you did an okay thing, and like let them tell their story to give them back some strength. So.
Right. Is there anything specific that stood out to you with one of them when they would talk to you? Was there one or two specific instances that really just kind of have stuck in your brain?
Yes. I mean, they're all scary. And it's amazing to see how many people have been affected on this campus by sexual assault.
Right.
We don't see it. Nobody talks about it. And if we do, you're with one of your best friends and they say, this happened to me. And it's scared. People are scared because I think they're not really afraid to, not put them in trouble, but I think they're more afraid of what people are going to say about them. That's really scary.
Mm-hmm.
And especially for them not to lose friends. I mean, they would be kicked out of their own community if they came forward. That to see the fear in their face from that kind of hurt. So.
Yeah, that really probably hit it home, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
It was scary.
Well,
It's
yeah.
all scary.
Right. Because, you said we talked about it. It's hard to come out. Well, just this semester alone, we've had, 6 or 7 reported?
I heard 13. That's what I've heard, 13. But that's from different areas from all over campus. That's from what I've heard. But, of course, those are all up in the air.
Right.
We hear numbers left and right, unfortunately. But we know it's more than what we've heard in the past. That's
right.
For sure.
It's been a really big issue this year here on campus. Do you think, with the people you talk to, is there any one specific thing that stands out as to why and when these things are happening?
Why they're happening? Well, of course, I wish I could say why. Honestly, I wish I knew why. I've been a victim myself before a couple of years ago, and I wish I could say why. But when they're happening, it's unexpected. It's not by people you don't know. It's by people you do know.
Right.
I hurt by your best friend.
I was just about to ask you about that because most statistics say it's not just the stranger on the street. It's someone you're probably normally pretty close with.
Absolutely.
And
that's the scariest part.
Yeah.
It's like it's your best friend. It could be your best friend. It could be your roommate. It could be anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a lot of people are actually afraid to come forward because it is somebody they know, and the other people in that circle are going to be like, well, you guys are, like, for instance, if you're a couple, and I mean, everything starts with consent. So it doesn't matter if you guys have been dating for a month or 4 years. It's all about consent. And so I feel like if something happens in a relationship, whether it's, partners or just friends, people, I feel like, get nervous to come forward because the others in that circle, will start to pick sides and be like, well, no, it wasn't because everyone knows that you guys are together or something crazy like that.
No, I understand. And I think the big thing with this whole thing is just, my big question is why now, and why is it all of a sudden it's just this thing that just came out of nowhere? Like, we normally get reports or the emergency emails or texts about there's been an assault reported here and here, but those are normally few and far between. It seems like every couple weekends, or like especially when we first got here in August, every weekend we were getting a notification. Like, my big question is why? And like you said, Grace, there's not really you don't know exactly why,
Well, on
or
that,
do you?
I mean, from why they're being reported so much.
No. I'm saying, why is it happening? Like, why?
I think it's always been happening. It's been happening this under everybody's noses this whole entire time. This is nothing new.
Mhm.
A lot of my friends have been hurt on this campus, and myself and the girls that I talk to, a lot of people have been hurt. But I think that we finally understand our resources, and we finally understand it's okay to speak up. And I think we finally understand the only way that we're going to get better is if we take care of it, stand up, and give ourselves a voice back and make something happen so nobody else can get hurt.
So you can credit, so you can almost credit that to why we're being why more notifications are out, why people are more
Absolutely.
prone to saying, look, this is happening.
Yes.
Okay.
People want it. We want to change. I mean,
Right.
I want change to
Well,
happen.
yeah.
And these girls that are getting hurt, they're finally like, oh my gosh.
Right.
And I credit to them because I wish I did when I got hurt. I
Mhm.
wish I did. And now they're doing it for me, and I'm like, thank you.
Well, yeah.
Change this culture. Change what's going on.
Do you think there is a specific rape culture?
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
Oh yeah, it's especially on our campus.
Yeah.
People encourage it underneath their noses. I mean, I'm a women and gender studies minor, and I study things like this.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm writing a paper about how social media can contribute to a rape culture.
Really?
And it does. By the dumb things that you see on Twitter, from pictures of girls in an outfit, and they say, boys, would you let your girl wear this outfit? That's a controlling type of culture. And it's not rape, but it's control. And it's encouraged everywhere. Just even by the small comments that people make. It's very small comments. It's encouraged, and it's embedded in our heads. We're young. We're fresh minds. So we learn things from our friends. So
Jake, you've kind of been quiet on this. Do you have? I want to know, because obviously it's hard for you and I to speak out a little bit. I feel like sometimes it's hard for us to talk about it because, luckily we aren't normally as prone to these types of situations as, Vanessa and Grace are, because we are men. But again, not to say that doesn't happen, because that does happen as well. Jake, I want to know, what are you thinking with all this? I'd like to know.
Well, about a couple weeks back, actually last month, there was a Me Too campaign on social media that broke out. Are you familiar with that, Grace?
oh yes, absolutely.
So yeah, I actually got to see two sides on this. So there's everyone that was saying Me Too. Quite a few friends that I know posted Me Too. And then one woman on Facebook made a large post about how she won't say Me Too. And then in the beginning she says, it's mainly because, quote, we shouldn't have to out ourselves as survivors. And I agree with that. Why would you want to put yourself out there as being a sexual assault survivor? It's me more of trying to prevent it, so from having those perpetrators actually doing the act in the first place.
Mm-hmm. To your point, we can throw back to what Grace has been saying, though, is because there are, for those who are scared to speak out about it, I think for those who are speaking out, it brings a face to what is happening or what has always been happening. So I understand what you're coming from with that, from that post that you found, but I also think I agree with what Grace has said about it, is because, it's a huge deal. It's even taken over Hollywood. Like the October and the early part here of November, crazy. You had the Harvey Weinstein thing, and then just last week, Kevin Spacey's situation. It's just, again, that brings back my question as to why this, what is it that sparked it all? And the thing is, too, that just, obviously it's all just sickening. So
I think, again, we're going back to, we're finding out our resources, and we're living in a really weird time. We're in a
Amen.
very, very weird, there's no other word to use it, but it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird for men and women and children and politicians and teachers. It's a very weird time to live in, and I think it's finally starting to where people are starting to realize as individuals what they can do and not go along with society and moving forward, and especially having their own opinions. And I think that's a big thing, is like it's great to have your own opinion, and it's great to use that, especially from the Me Too thing, saying that she doesn't want to out herself as a sexual assault survivor because it doesn't help anything. But I think the Me Too campaign really wanted to focus on showing how many people have been affected, show how widespread it is, and it is everywhere, and it's finally we're starting to just be able to take it by the reins and just say, okay, this has to end, and to bring back our individuality for sure.
With your involvement in the Me Too, can you kind of, for those who have not heard about it or saw anything about it or were confused, can you kind of elaborate what the purpose and the point was of Me Too, the hashtag Me Too movement?
Hashtag Me Too was to basically show how many people have been affected by sexual assault, whether if it was an act of rape or some just minor things. It goes to show like how many people within your community have been involved. And it popped up on my thing, and I started reading through some of the tweets, and it was a lot of local people. A lot of people were involved. And even if somebody didn't tweet out hashtag Me Too, some people were favoriting it. And that also brings to light how many people are aware of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So they just wanted to show like how many, the statistics of like 1 in 8 women on a college campus will be affected by sexual assault. Or maybe the number is lower now.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just to give yourself an idea of how big this really is.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think that number might be a lot higher because in recent years, sexual assault has gone very well under the rug and underreported here. And since our school is now facing backlash from the federal government, they are feeling finally obligated to actually send out these emails in a timely fashion instead of last year where there might have been probably 20 sexual assaults, but we only heard about 2. So they're finally doing their part to at least let us know about it. But we're all kind of angered because each report ends with the victim requesting no investigation. They're like, well, why are you telling us this if you're not going to investigate? So that's where I'm at. Like, don't tell us if you're not going to investigate, because I want, obviously, someone to be brought to justice for their crimes and the action that they committed against somebody.
Right. No, and that's I think that's a very popular and very right thing to think on it. I do. That's also very confusing with if there's no investigation, why tell us about it? A bit. Part of it could also be that it's another way to raise awareness, I think, as well. But I think if it's reported as that, I think you probably should look into it. I mean, am I wrong on saying if it's been reported like that, there should be some form of
This should be taken care of.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't matter. Honestly, it does not matter what happened. It does not matter what happened. If she said she was hurt, and you need to figure it out. And if it turns out it wasn't, then it wasn't. But there has to be a voice of reason within there to solve what's going on. There has to be. There has to be some kind of justice within there. And the biggest thing is it's not, especially with the fraternity shutting down a couple weeks ago, it's not about them. It's not about them. It's about those poor young girls who got hurt. It's about them because their lives, if it was as bad and if they're hurt as I really think they are, it could affect their lives. It could ruin their lives forever.
Vanessa, you look like you have something to say here.
Yeah, so when it goes back to at the end of those emails, it's saying there was no like investigation or anything like that. I understand that we have to do, what these girls are asking. If they ask us not to make it a case or not to go farther into it because they're afraid of what's going to happen, and the feedback they're going to be receiving, I understand that some of them don't want to have it looked into because of that, but I feel like Ball States should have something in the sense of when something is reported on their campus, they do need to look into it, because for all we know, it could be somebody doing it several times. Like, I know that it goes back to it's usually somebody but we could have people on this campus who are doing this continuously because they haven't been caught.
Absolutely.
And another thing that kind of is shocking about the whole thing is, shocking and interesting at the same time. Most of the reported ones have happened in a certain area, and then there's also been a few off campus, but then there's ones that have been happening in the dorms. Do you think, can you place I don't want to say blame, but can you place the cause of some of it on age, on the maturity level of the people coming in as well? Do you think that, if most of the time it's younger classmen are living in the dorms, do you think that has plays a role in all of this?
Age, we're all at a very vulnerable age right now. We're all young and we're confused and we're stumbling around like a bunch of idiots half the time, honestly.
Yeah.
But, it really just comes down to that, just having consent and being aware of what's going on. And alcohol does play a big part into this, but it's not the thing to blame.
No.
It is a big part of this situation, but it's not it's not what we need to blame, because I'm sure sober people have done this act of violence, and drunk people have left and right. But I don't know if it is an age. I don't know. I truly don't know, because I don't know enough about the case reports to really understand what is going on, especially what dorms they're in.
Right.
All I can say is I would be very concerned if I was living in a dorm, because dorms are really safe.
Mhm.
Those generally used to be the safest places on campus.
Right.
And now to know that these sexual assaults are happening within the hallways, I
Mhm.
would be aware and watch out for your friends. That's a big thing. Watch
Yeah.
out for your friends. I don't care what's happening. Just be, including men and girls and boys. They need to watch out for their friends and figure out what's going on. That's not a maturity thing. That's a character thing.
Right. Well, and as you say that, and the thing is too that obviously we'll throw back a little bit to the situation with the fraternities. They're all required to go to those step-in courses, or be the sexual assault awareness, but also be that the Step In Speak Up program. That's also now kind of coming into a bigger lights and everything, and being more promoted a little more. That is something that's huge, because people, they'll see it, but they don't know how to handle it. And I think that if you're educated enough to say, okay, that doesn't look right, I need to say something about this. Like, you really do. If you have the opportunity, do it, because again, someone's life, their livelihood, their way of how they think about themselves, each other, that's on the line, without trying to be too preachy on it. But I think it is. I think that kind of stuff is very important.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we can take as many classes as we want. We can teach them how to not rape, out of all this jazz. We can do that left and right. But at the end of the day, it comes down to your character. It comes down to what kind of a human being are you.
Yeah.
Not saying that you're bad, but like, it comes down to how are you going to handle this? How are you going to take care of your friends? And it's if you have like a brotherhood or a sisterhood, it's a family thing. So take care of your family.
Yeah.
It's a part of the qualities that we're supposed to learn. So.
Well, Ross, we just received some breaking news. Florida State University has banned Greek life after a student has died over the weekend on Friday.
And the entirety, Greek life as an entirety, so sororities, fraternities, all of that. This is just now happening.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
So this is from USA Today. A Florida State student, Andrew Coffey of Pompano Beach, Florida, was found unresponsive at about 10:28 a.m. on Friday after a house party on campus. And then he was a pledge of the Pi Kappa Phi fraternity, which is also here. And he was given medical treatment there, but he died on scene. And then the university, the Pi Kappa Phi CEO sent out a message saying our thoughts and prayers are with the students, family, and friends. And then the president of Florida State made the decision to also ban alcohol at any student organization's function. So that includes like any club, not just Greek life as well.
That is, wow, that's horrible.
And this came during their parents' weekend. So a lot of this is a big time where alcohol is present. So.
Right.
And we also had an issue with a lot of drinking tickets being issued at our family weekend here at Ball State.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say, too, our homecoming as well, because we talked on that the last time. We touched on that as well, with the different events, and obviously people were talking and saying, wow, students were not, conducting themselves in the proper manners and everything. That's a horrible story, and we'll continue to keep people updated on that as we learn more and more. Again, I hate to say it, but as a former member of Greek life, that doesn't bode well for a lot of places around the country, I think, as well. Anyone thoughts on that as well?
And I mean, this goes to show, I'm so sick of hearing thoughts and prayers. I'm so sick of it. And unfortunately, thoughts and prayers is the nice thing to say, but Florida took action and did something about it. I know it sucks and it makes a lot of people mad, but this is the kind of stuff we don't need to happen on campus.
No.
College is supposed to be fun, and I'm sure no college community wants to ban these types of activities and clubs to be a part of, but there's a reason why we have to take action, and it's to stop things like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it sucks for Greek life to be eliminated, and it really sucks for you, but there's thoughts and prayers does not fix anything, and this is going to fix it. This is what happened, so now it's time to change.
Yeah.
Now it's time for a change.
Well, it's the actions speak louder than words
Absolutely.
thing. So to throw it to that, I honestly, probably a good decision. on their part. To honestly, really a good decision on that. It is, and I think because we can tie this kind of together too with the sexual assault and harassment stuff with just what happened at Florida State. Do you think hazing plays a part in a lot of all this, a lot of these instances?
They might. I mean, I've never been a part of a hazing. I've never heard of any crazy I mean, you see like stuff in movies and stuff like that.
Well, yeah.
And I mean, like at the hazing, I mean, if there is, and I just hope, it goes back to them taking care of each other, and it might play a part into this. It might. I've never been a part of the crazy parties there, so it's hard for me to speak on behalf of any of the hazing because I don't know what happens.
Right.
But I would hope, and I would really, really hope that does not play a part of this. So.
Right. Vanessa, Jake, any more final thoughts on the FSU situation that we just learned about, or the sexual assaults here on Ball State's campus?
Well, this is a step that Ball State could have taken here, but our university officials and IFC decided to just suspend all alcoholic activities and social events until the end of January. But now this is a much longer, much more serious consequence, since not just Greek life is affected, but any student organization at Florida State is now being affected as well by this decision and tragedy.
Horrible situations. Obviously, we will continue to talk about these as more things develop. We're going to segue into a little bit more of a, let's say, a happier discussion, happier topic here. Ball State rebranded today. Everyone's seen all this, the rebrand of Ball State University, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So instead of, because when I came in as a freshman, it was Education Redefined, as it was for everyone in here, right? Now it is We Fly. What do we think about We Fly?
When I think of We Fly, I think of Jim Jones' song "We Fly High." Brings me back to the good old days.
Yeah.
And I've heard that song on the loop at least 20 times today, just walking through the halls.
Really?
In the Unified Media Lab.
Oh, man.
That's all we're going to hear now.
Yeah. Vanessa?
I actually went over to, I don't remember exactly what building it was, but I went over there. They were passing out, like, already, they're giving out T-shirts and things that have the We Fly on it, Frisbees, everything like that. They're definitely trying to push to get out there. They even have a bus that has
the
We
big red
Fly,
bus.
Yeah, plastered on it. So they're definitely, coming out strong, trying to stick it everywhere. It's on the sides of buildings, so you really can't miss it.
It's interesting. I think it's not what I expected, that's for sure.
No.
It's not what I expected. But listen to President Mearns talk about it and what it means, and I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool. But Lord have mercy, We Fly. So that's for sure. So
well, and the purpose of We Fly is to encourage students to fly high, basically chase your aspirations, do everything you can to make your dreams come true, make everything come to fruition, whatever. It is a little corny, a little cheesy, but I kind of like that. It's cool. I do like the imaging is really good because I mean, you walked around campus this morning, you couldn't go anywhere without seeing it. Schaefer Tower, Teachers College, both of those have huge banners draped down the sides, all the little flags throughout the street in the middle of McKinley, all of that. Definitely, and I think because a lot of us were kind of joking around with it this morning, saying, "Oh, We Fly, that's kind of stupid, whatever, like blah blah blah." But we'll see what happens. See if it catches on or not.
I think Mearns can sell it. Mearns has got to sell it, and he's such a nice guy. I like President Mearns. I think he's great, and I think he can sell it really, really well. I mean, he's a cool dude, and he wants to do something good for this campus. So rebranding it, he's so hyped up about it, and it's just like, okay, we'll take it. I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and he sold it very well this morning, or was it around 11:30 when the whole unveiling happened. He was very very passionate, very enthusiastic about it. So it's good to see. We'll see where it goes from here.
And he's bringing in students within it too.
Yes.
Representing each college, which I like.
Yes.
So giving his voice.
Yeah, just walking on campus, I noticed that it is a lot of students featured in that.
Yes.
Some posters. So I feel like, to walk down the street and see your friend on a banner or something like that, it's just going to, you feel excited for them, and I'm sure they feel great getting to be a part of something so big and so new. It's just like a new chapter for Ball State, trying to actually move forward and better the school.
Yes, it is. And speaking of new and different, the we had some severe weather roll through Delaware County last night. Actually, it was confirmed that a tornado did touch down somewhere within Delaware County. Obviously, if you've been driving around or walking around campus or in different parts of Muncie, there's been a lot of water damage, a lot of wind. I was not here last night, but I, obviously came in and saw the wreckage this morning. Different cleanup crews are also around the area to get all that stuff cleaned up and back to normal. The big issue though has been with Indiana Michigan Power with not having power in homes. Have any of you been affected by that?
My power has been out for 24 hours now
So-
in my apartment complex.
As far as you know, still no change.
I was there about 30 minutes ago, and everything's out. Everything in my fridge is spoiled. So.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Don't open your fridge, whatever you do.
No,
No,
you
my
leave it
pizza
alone.
rolls are gonna be soggy now. I'm not happy
Oh.
about that.
No, Jake, Vanessa, have you guys power outages?
No, I'm one of the lucky ones. I
Yeah,
didn't
I'm with you.
have any of that. I think that it does stink though because there's so many students like without power and they're just kind of like, where do we go?
Mhm.
And it's like you call your friend and their power is out too, and people have been told they're not going to have power for 48 hours.
Yep, it could. Yeah,
Mhm.
it could not even get on until tomorrow.
I'm trying to plan where I'm gonna get a shower in. I have to go do homework somewhere else.
Right.
and-
Library will be packed tonight.
Oh yeah.
I guarantee it.
Well, I was one of the lucky ones.
Yeah. Oh, you were as
I
well.
never lost power.
Yeah, I don't. Well, see, I don't know. I think because like I said, I wasn't home last night, but I think our area was off. But when I came back this morning, because my microwave was flashing, so I think because that's where our clock's at, so I think it reset obviously, and so but everything was working at the house. But I could go back and who knows. And I think the big issue people are having with that as well is because rates have gone up with Indiana Michigan Power. We reported on that with Newslink and Daily News and stuff. So the big issue people are having is, well, if you're going to bump our rates up, why aren't you doing anything to fix this faster in a more timely manner?
Mhm.
Thoughts on that?
Well, IEP, which is the parent company of Indiana Michigan Power, also is dealing with severe weather in Ohio. So
Mhm.
they also have to send their crew out there as well as here in Delaware County. So they're fighting two battles in two different states, trying to restore power to all those people.
True.
And Indiana Michigan Power listed that 9,350 customers had power outages in the Muncie area on the outage map last night, according to a Daily News report. And then 24,000 customers are without power in East Central Indiana.
Well, hopefully they can get all that figured out here within a timely manner, and everyone can get back to being able to shower and do their homework and everything. We'll get you your 7-day forecast real quick. Temps for the next week to be in the mid to upper 40s. Unfortunately, Friday, though, it's going to be a chilly one with highs at 38 and lows near 25. Throughout the weekend, though, temps in the mid 40s there is some rain chances on Sunday, and then on to Monday, temps near 50, closer to more in the mid 40s. Guys, it's going to wrap it up for the 4 Culture today. Jake Thomas, Vanessa Brooks, thank you, and Grace, thank you so much for coming and sharing your story, your experience. I know that's it's not an easy thing to talk about, but obviously it needs to be talked about. So thank you so much for coming in and sharing that with us. That was great.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Of course, guys, we will see you here next time on the 4 Culture Podcast.